Celebrities who faked their own death but were caught. Number 1. Dave. Dave was a man who looked very different because he survived bad burns as a child. Some fans believed he was actually Michael Jackson hiding in plain sight, spoke with a voice oddly like Michael's, and even appeared on TV right after Michael died, acting just like him.
This got too dark. I spent 24 hours on TikTok's dark side and I almost didn't make it. The secrets I'm going to uncover with you will never let you see things the same again. And make sure you watch to the end of the video because what we're going to expose tonight has been hidden for us for too long. And don't watch these videos alone because this is going to be terrifying. What's even scarier than the TikToks we're about to watch today is the fact that 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe for more scary videos. Thank you.
Disguised as a woman, he had a 20-year intimate relationship with a man, even giving him a child. But how he pulled all this off is one of the most elaborate deceptions in history. It was 1964 when French diplomat Bernard ran into the Chinese spy Shi Pei-pu, whose goal was to get Bernard to fall in love with him. Now, it's said the spy had a unique ability to retract his male parts inside of him and create the illusion of female parts. That, coupled with the fact Bernard had never been with a woman before, he apparently had no questions during intimacy. To really cement the relationship, she faked a pregnancy and purchased a child, saying it was their biological son who Bernard raised as his own. Bernard fell deeper in love while she was getting access to tons of classified information. Eventually, the French government got suspicious of espionage, brought the two to court where doctors inspected Shi, and that's when Bernard found out the past 2 decades of his life had all been a lie. Bernard tried to off himself in prison but was unsuccessful and is actually still alive today. And when he found out of Shi's passing, he said, quote, "The plate is clean now, I am free."
So this dude went 2 decades of his life just to find out that his wife was actually his husband. That's like top 5 betrayals ever. He really thought he found the love of his life, but he was really just smooching on a man for 20 years.
So you're saying Antarctica wasn't always frozen?
There's a massive hole in Antarctica. You can see it on Google Earth and about 30 meters wide. But here's the weird part. Around that hole, there are bases, research stations. And each base, it's named after a different country. Every major nation has a presence there. They're all studying whatever's in that hole. But that's not even the craziest part. About, I'd say, 15 to 30 miles behind that hole, there's a gigantic pyramid. I'm talking massive. Way bigger than the ones in Egypt. You can see its complete apex. It's been featured on the History Channel, Ancient Aliens. It's not a secret. It's just there. Now, how did a pyramid get in Antarctica? No sand, no tools, just ice. Well, Antarctica wasn't always frozen. That continent, it shifted. The Earth's crust slipped, moved the landmass all the way to the South Pole during a pole shift. Rapid, violent. And here's the scientific proof. As the ice melts thanks to global warming, they're finding animals buried in the ice, perfectly preserved. And when they dissect them, undigested food, still in their stomachs. You know what that means?
They froze instantly?
Exactly. Flash frozen. Something catastrophic happened. Fast. And nobody's talking about it.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Okay, I think we got some secrets we got to talk about because when I was in school, they made Antarctica sound like it was just like a big slab of ice with some polar bears. What do you mean there's pyramids and there's a big hole that has monsters in it?
Accidents that changed the world forever. In 1902, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt went on a hunting trip where he refused to shoot a bear that had been captured, deeming it too cruel and unsporting. The story spread rapidly and was then turned into a popular political cartoon. Inspired by this, toy makers created a stuffed bear and called it Teddy's Bear in honor of Roosevelt. The toy became a huge hit, and the teddy bear went on to become one of the most beloved toys in history. In 1895, a German scientist named Wilhelm Röntgen was experimenting with electrical tubes when he noticed a strange glow on his hand, which revealed his bones. He realized the electrical rays could pass through solid objects, but not the bones, leading to the development of X-ray imaging, which transformed medicine forever. In 1941, a Swiss engineer named George Mistral was walking through the woods with his dog when he noticed small, prickly seeds clinging to his clothes and his dog's fur. Upon examining them under a microscope, he discovered the tiny hooks on the seeds that allowed them to attach so effectively. Inspired by this, he created a type of fastening system, leading to the invention of Velcro, which revolutionized how things are fastened in a wide range of industries.
Okay guys, breaking news. Jamaica could be in big trouble. In only a matter of hours, the most powerful hurricane they have ever seen is going to make landfall. It is category 5, the strongest there is. It is named Melissa, not ideal, and huge evacuation orders have been issued with the Prime Minister saying every Jamaican prepare and stay indoors during this storm, or else. What makes this even worse is that this thing is moving super slow, currently only around 3 miles per hour. That means it hangs over them for longer and does even more damage. It has maximum sustained wind speeds of a staggering 165 miles per hour. That is wild. In fact, actually, one of the research teams whose literal job it is to fly into powerful storms all the time, they had to abort their mission to make sure that this plane didn't receive structural damage. Melissa is now Earth's strongest storm of 2025. So from all of us, we wish every Jamaican good luck. And I'll keep you guys updated.
I literally just seen a dude on TikTok earlier. He posted a video in the storm and he was just screaming "Bomba Glad." I feel like some people are not taking this storm as seriously as they should be.
This girl from Sweden fell asleep for 32 years and didn't wake up. And they called her the sleeper of Okna. At the time, she was probably like in her 20s. She ends up getting this head injury, but then a couple of days after her head injury, she's complaining about like this toothache that she has. So her parents pretty much tell her, like, you know, go ahead and sleep it off. She goes to sleep and she doesn't wake up.
And that's when she first started sleeping?
That's when she first started sleeping. And she is pretty much the longest someone has ever slept for a long time without waking up with like crazy side effects from it. And the weird thing about it, the reason why they don't know if it's for surely a coma or not is because her hair and her nails weren't growing while she was sleeping. They said like at random times she would just like snap up and just start saying like religious prayers that she remembered from when she was a kid.
And she's asleep.
And she's asleep. Her brother died. On that same day that her brother died, they said that the girl Carolina was crying hysterically in her sleep on that same day that her brother died.
What?
Yeah. And then after 32 years in like 1907,
yeah,
she ends up waking up one day. And now she's 45, but they say that she looks like a 20-year-old, like super young.
Holy crap.
Have you heard the craziest conspiracy theory about Britney Spears, that she was an employee of the Bush administration and her job was to take the public heat off of him anytime he would do something bad to keep his approval ratings high?
Honestly, I think we should just trust our president in every decision that he makes, and we should just support that and be faithful in what happens.
Do you trust this president?
Yes, I do.
Since she would always show her respect for him out of nowhere, and coincidentally, anytime something would happen very bad for Bush that would turn a lot of people against him, Britney Spears was there with a huge scandal to take some of the public attention away. And these coincidences are insane. In 2007, on the exact same night that Bush announced the reformation of Al-Qaeda, Britney was being photographed shaving her head by herself and slamming an umbrella into a paparazzi's car. The same week that Bush's approval rating hit an all-time low of only 38% and his vice president accidentally shot someone, Britney Spears publicly almost dropped her baby on its head, and everyone was too busy talking about how she shouldn't be a mom. In January 2004, when the Bush administration was having a lot of inside drama because one of the members accidentally leaked the name of an undercover CIA agent and was going on trial, the same week Britney Spears got married to Jason Alexander in Las Vegas and then ended the marriage 55 hours later. I'm gonna show you the craziest part about all of this, but before I do, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests who you want to see next. The craziest part is that while Britney's breakdown was going on from 2004 to 2008, everyone seemed to love her again in 2009, and guess who is just out of office that year?
They grabbed this guy, and in front of all these people, I still can't believe this. This crazy. Chop him up. What? And I was younger at the time, and my dad told me he was in Africa at this time, and he was recording. He had like an old video camera, and he has VHS tapes when he recorded out there, recording like all the markets and things like that. And then there is this tribe out there. My dad was calling them the Bushmen, because like, you know, they practice voodoo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's like a rare sighting if you see these guys come out to the city, because they live in like the woods or the forests and things like that. And they have like all these crazy things that they're wearing and stuff. And there's like this specific guy that the best way my dad could describe it in English is just saying the African devil. That's what he'll say. Like, I don't know if you ever seen those videos. There will be like a person's wearing like this big thing, and it's like you can't really see their body, and you'll just see their legs, and they're like dancing.
It looks like they're wearing like dinner, like leaves or like straw or something. that, yeah.
It's like that guy comes out, and he's the main one, and there's a bunch of these other people that are all have like these tribal markings, and you know, they look crazy. And as they're going in, they're dancing around everybody. They grab some random dude from the audience, and you could see it on his face that he's like confused. And in front of all these people, I still can't believe this.
Crazy.
They chop him up. Chop this dude up with knives, machetes, things like that.
Like start dismembering him.
Dismembered, bro, in front of everybody. And you see his body is like in pieces. You know, they left it just right there on the street.
Oh my god.
They start dancing around bro's body. They get like oil or something like that. They set his body on fire. And it's a huge fire. And all these guys start dancing around the fire. The closer they're getting to the fire, the smaller it's getting. And every time they get closer, all to the point where they cover the fire completely, so you can't see it no more. All the guys are covering over it. And they open up, and the guy's alive. And to this day, I swear to God, I'm dead ass serious. I swear to God on everything I love. My dad showed me parts of the video, but he didn't show me like, you know, the whole exact thing. But my brother said he watched the whole video, and he's seen this on film. But I remember seeing the beginning of the video. My dad turns the camera. He has a big clunky camera, shows himself. He's like with one of his homies. He's recording the street. And then you see when the guys come in, everybody like parts out and, you know, just like start seeing them coming and dancing. This guy comes out the middle and he looks hella confused.
But this sounds like a fucking movie, bro.
It's real shit.
Shit's
It's
insane,
like that
bro.
voodoo stuff. You know what I'm telling you. Even like my auntie,
So it's a video going around right now circulating the internet of a Elmo balloon floating. A paranormal being or a spirit inside of a balloon going up the stairs by itself? Look at this. Now I want y'all to look at this. Mind you, the dog is barking. Dogs don't bark unless they sense something. But this balloon is literally walking up the stairs by itself. Shit crazy, man. If y'all want to, what I want y'all to do is to put Elmo balloon in your search box. And then go over there and look at this video. And then check out the comments, because people in the comments think this is a game. When balloons don't mysteriously walk up the stairs by themselves. So the lady stated her son wanted a balloon. So she went and bought a balloon from Party City, came back home with it. Noticed that the balloon started doing some weird shit on its own, which she decided to get a video camera and record this shit. I don't know about y'all, but this some scary shit. Elmo walking up the stairs by himself.
Did we just watch a haunted Elmo climb up the stairs?
Let's talk about another case of Final Destination in real life. Today we're talking about the tragic case of Lisa Lopes. So Lisa Lopes was a fun, feisty rapper. She was the L in TLC. On April 25th of 2002, Lisa's life was cut short when she was involved in a fatal car crash in Honduras. Her COD was listed as a fracture at the base of her cranium and open cerebral trauma. Weeks before Lisa's death, she was riding with her assistant when a 10-year-old boy named Bayron Lopes jumped out from the median in front of the car and he was struck. He died almost instantly. In the weeks after this accident happened, Lisa started to express her fears that she was being followed by a dark spirit. Both Lisa and Bayron had the last name Lopes, leading Lisa to believe that death took the wrong Lopes and now it was hunting her down and death was after her. She was very adamant in these fears and she really thought that death and the spirit of this young boy were hunting her down and were going to take her life. And then just weeks later, then she's gone in this car crash. So yeah, just the spooky dookiness of this all kind of feels like a Final Destination movie. And I've seen people talk about that. But yeah, tell me more cases of Final Destination you want me to talk about if you know them. It's pretty scary.
Morbid Facts, Part 782. In 2004, 23-year-old Florida teacher Deborah LaFave was arrested for having an illegal relationship with her 14-year-old student, in other words, raping him, after the boy's aunt caught them together and alerted his mother. What made the case even more disturbing was the public's reaction. Instead of outrage, much of the media fixated on her looks, calling her too pretty for prison, and treating the abuse like a scandalous affair rather than a crime. She pled guilty in 2005 and was sentenced to 3 years of house arrest, 7 years of probation, and lifetime registration as a sex offender, but never spent a single day in prison. These were the final texts sent by Eddie Justice as he hid in the bathroom during the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, one of the deadliest mass shootings in American history. For 3 terrifying hours, the gunman roamed the club and executed anyone he saw, killing 49 and wounding 53. Victims tried to barricade doors, play dead, or call loved ones as SWAT teams surrounded the building. When police finally stormed in and killed him, the scene inside was pure horror. Bodies stacked all over, blood flooding the dance floor, and phones still ringing in the pockets of victims.
This Polish model Agnieszka dodged death in the most craziest way, just to be killed weeks later by a stalker. So this happened like in 1996. There was this really popular model at the time named Agnieszka. And she worked for a bunch of well-known brands at the time like Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren, all this stuff, right? She was modeling for these companies.
Yeah.
In 1996, for some reason, bro, this is like some real Final Destination type stuff. Literally the last minute, she decided not to get on this airplane that she was supposed to board onto. That airplane ended up crashing. There was no survivors left on that plane. After finding out that the plane crashed, you know, she's getting her relief, like, oh my God, thank God I didn't get on the plane. What would have happened if she would have gone up? She would have been dead. You know what I'm saying? All 200 passengers on that plane ended up dying in the crash. Weeks later, outside of her own home, some dude who's been stalking her for the longest time, this dude ends up stabbing her to death. He kills her in front of her husband and her daughter.
In front of her house?
In front of her house. He ended up injuring her husband too because he tried to like fight him off, but he ended up getting like sliced a little bit, but he didn't die. The dude who killed her only ends up going to jail for 15 years.
Really?
Yes. And then as soon as he gets out, like literally like within the same month, he ends up stabbing and killing another guy.
He was just itching to kill somebody.
Yeah, I swear to God, bro. But it's just so insane how close she was to dying. Just for her to avoid that and then get killed weeks later.
Yeah.
That's some real Final Destination
No,
shit.
seriously, that's what I mean. It's like it just moved the date.
Yeah. That's
But-
literally like Final Destination 1.
Yeah.
With the airplane and everything.
I'm already knowing. That's like literally one of one. Like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Dog, that's fucking weird.
No, for real,
That is
bro.
actually weird.
Crazy historical coincidences that cannot be explained. In 1893, a man named Henry Ziegland broke up with his girlfriend at the time, who then died by suicide. Her brother tried to kill Henry by shooting at him, but he missed, and the bullet got stuck in a tree. 20 years later, Henry Ziegland decided to cut down the tree. When it fell, the bullet was dislodged and flew out, which struck him, killing him on the exact spot where he had been shot at 20 years earlier. On August 6, 1945, a Japanese man named Tsutomu Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima for a work trip when the first atomic bomb was dropped. Despite severe burns and injuries, he managed to escape the city and return home to Nagasaki the next day. 3 days later, while on his way to work, the second atomic bomb was dropped, this time in his own city. Miraculously, he survived again and went on to live up until his death in 2010. In 1912, a woman named Violet Jessup was aboard the Titanic when it sank after hitting an iceberg. Luckily, she survived. A few years later, in 1916, she was on the Britannic when it struck a mine and sank again. She survived. Lastly, she was on board the Olympic, which collided with another ship, and yet she survived again, and is known as the only person to have survived 3 separate disasters.
Or reach, but that definitely is Jeffrey Epstein. There is no way that that is not him. Call me crazy, but at the end of the day, who really knows besides Jeffrey himself, I guess.
There are things that are bigger than just coincidence.
Somebody told the devil.
That's what a ritual is.
I swear to Lucifer. I think the label went bankrupt, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
A ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way. You don't care how people feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work. You can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear.
Hey, so you know that if you were to sell your soul to the devil, you can have instant fame tomorrow. He actually said those words.
Satanism is Satanism.
A lot of people that doubt what you say don't read. Books were my life.
Comment book to learn more about consciousness.
So apparently back in the 1900s, if you asked them, what do you think the world would look like in 100 years? This is something that they came up with. And things like this. In the 1940s, this is what they thought 2011 would look like. But this is important, stay tuned. Now, if you ask people today what they think the world would look like in 100 years, you're probably going to get a majority of the people saying something like this. But imagine if 100 years ago that they imagined that this would be in 100 years. Imagine what the world would be like now. So why are we doing this now? Why do we think that this is going to be the future? Are we manifesting the correct future by believing in these kind of futuristic images? Or can we change it and start manifesting this kind of future in our minds? I would much rather have things like this. So the next time someone thinks about the future, or asks you what you think the future is going to look like, don't think this, think this. And imagine how much we can change the future together with just a simple thought.
Jamaica is about to face the most powerful hurricane in its history. This isn't hype, this is real. Hurricane Melissa is now in a Category 1, but it's growing fast. Winds are already hitting 90 miles an hour, and the storm is sitting 130 miles southeast of Kingston. But here's the scary part. It's barely moving. It's parked over ocean water that's almost 90 degrees, which means it's feeding non-stop. And that's the perfect recipe for this storm to grow into a Category 4, or even a Category 5 monster. And that could happen by Sunday night. The last time Jamaica saw something this strong was Hurricane Gilbert, and that was years ago. That happened in 1988. And that storm hit as a Category 3. That storm also took the lives of 45 people and caused $700 million in damage. Now imagine that, but even stronger. Airports are closing. Certain cruise ships might not even leave out. You have tourists that's there right now that might be stranded if they don't get out of there. On top of that, get this. Supermarkets are being empty. You already know when storms hit like this, people stock up on food because shit can get crazy and they don't know when they're gonna get food again. Water, power, or any supplies. And locals are saying that food is running out right now. Right now, they're already saying that Hurricane Melissa claimed the lives of 3 people between the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And now it's coming to Jamaica. Y'all better be safe out there. I'm out.
Scientists who were called crazy but ended up being right. This photograph shows Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian doctor in the 1840s. He noticed that women were dying from childbirth fever in hospitals but not at home. He suggested that doctors should wash their hands between patients. The medical community was outraged and called his ideas wrong. They said gentlemen's hands were always clean and removed him from his position. Semmelweis struggled with the rejection. Decades later, germ theory proved he was absolutely right, and hand washing became standard practice that saves millions of lives today. This image shows Alfred Wegener, a German scientist who proposed in 1912 that continents moved across the Earth's surface. He noticed that fossils and rock formations matched perfectly across different continents like pieces of a puzzle. The scientific community rejected him, calling his continental drift theory incorrect. They said continents were too heavy to move. Wegener passed away in 1930, still doubted by his peers. In the 1960s, plate tectonics proved he was completely correct about how our planet works. This photograph shows Barbara McClintock, a geneticist who discovered in the 1940s that genes could move and change position within chromosomes. Fellow scientists called her research so unconventional that she stopped publishing her findings for years. They said genes were fixed and couldn't jump around. McClintock continued her work quietly while others dismissed her ideas. In 1983, she won the Nobel Prize when science finally caught up to her discoveries about genetic mobility that revolutionized our understanding of DNA.
These people are the definition of I told you so. They came up with ideas, nobody believed them, but then the same people that doubted them are using their ideas. People that do good things just never win.
Shocking coincidences you don't know about.
In 1991, a woman from Thailand accidentally slipped in the mud, grabbed a live wire and was electrocuted to death. Later that same day, when her sister was showing the neighbors how the accident happened, she slipped, grabbed the same live wire and was electrocuted to death. In 1979, Elvita Adams tried to cease her own existence by plummeting from the Empire State Building. She leapt from the 86th floor, but was blown back onto the 85th floor by a sudden, strong gust of wind. 112 people died during the construction of the Hoover Dam. The first to die was surveyor J.G. Tierney on December 20th, 1922. On the same exact day, 14 years later, the last person died during construction was JG's son, Patrick Tierney. In 1999, skydiver Joan Murray's parachute malfunctioned, causing her to fall from 14,000 feet directly onto a mound of fire ants. But doctors think the shock of adrenaline from 200 fire ants stings kept her heart beating and saved her life.
Historical mysteries that still have no answers. In 1492, Christopher Columbus was on his journey to discover the Americas. He was sailing across the Atlantic when he and his crew claimed they kept getting followed by something strange, a glowing light hovering over the ocean, moving up and down before suddenly disappearing. No one could explain it, but here's where it gets bizarre. Many believe it wasn't natural at all. There's a theory that the light was a time machine, and that humans from the future were watching Columbus make history. What makes it even crazier is that this theory can't be completely dismissed, because we have no idea how far into the future those watchers might be from. Back in the late 1500s, over 100 English settlers landed on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what's now North Carolina. When their supply ship returned 3 years later, the entire colony had vanished. No people, no bodies, just one word carved into a tree, which read Croatoan. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened to them. Some think they joined a nearby tribe, others believe they were wiped out. It's still one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries.
He ends up going to Benin, the western side of Africa, and it's basically known to be like the capital of voodoo.
Whoa.
And he gets given this list
That he has to get?
He gets assigned to get these objects before he meets the actual voodoo priest, right?
Okay.
We continue with our very strange shopping list. This is Berna, the priest's son. He helps me with our shopping list.
That's it. That's our crockhead.
The main thing that I want to talk about, what he said, right? To us, it just seems like dried animals, dead animals, right? But each one has some sort of spirit inside of it, right?
Yeah.
When he talks about the dried owl, he says owls are tied to witches.
Which is true.
And it's believed that the witches could turn into owls, so that ritual that you could perform with that dried owl is to basically ward witches away.
Berna finds us the next item on our list.
Barn owl. That's our azehe. They believe that witches turn into birds, and that if you use a potion with witches, can keep witches away. So birds are used to get evil spirits like witches away from you, and that's why we've got this owl. A very important part for getting rid of evil spirits.
And it reminded me of lechuzas, which, as we know in Mexican folklore, Mexican culture, witches are known to shapeshift into lechuzas, which are owls, bro. This is how you know shit is not bullshit. If people are saying the same shit, think about it, bro. This is in Africa. Where we hear about it is Mexico.
Yeah, totally different parts of the world.
And
Things that were invented to solve problems that no longer exist. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. The QWERTY keyboard layout was specifically designed in the 1870s to slow down typists and prevent mechanical typewriter keys from jamming. The most common letter combinations were deliberately separated to force typists to use both hands alternately and type slower. Christopher Scholes placed frequently used letters like A and S under weak fingers and put common combinations far apart. When electric typewriters and computers eliminated the jamming problem, we kept this inefficient layout purely out of habit. Number 2. Neckties were originally invented as napkins by Croatian soldiers who needed to keep their uniforms clean while eating messy battlefield rations. The long cloth strips could be untied and used to wipe hands and faces, then retied to look formal for military inspections. French aristocrats adopted this practical military accessory without understanding its original purpose, turning functional napkins into purely decorative fashion. Modern office workers now wear expensive silk napkins around their necks daily, spending billions on accessories designed for medieval soldiers to clean food off their faces during war. Number 3, alarm clocks were invented because factory workers in the Industrial Revolution couldn't rely on roosters or church bells in noisy, polluted cities. Before industrialization, people woke naturally with sunrise or used knocker-uppers, professional human alarm clocks who tapped on windows with long sticks. The mechanical alarm clock was created to force workers into unnatural schedules demanded by factory machinery. Today, we've built our entire society around machines originally designed to override human circadian rhythms, and most people now suffer from chronic sleep deprivation.
So you're telling me somebody would walk up to your window and start banging it with a stick, and that's how you would wake up for work? But that's the thing, wait, but who woke up the people that needed to wake up the people?
Facts that mess with your perception of time. Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than to the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza, which were already ancient ruins during her reign. The pyramids were over 2,500 years old when Cleopatra was born, while only 2,000 years separate her death from modern times. This means the pyramids were more ancient to Cleopatra than Cleopatra is to us today. Oxford University was teaching students before the Aztec Empire existed, with the university founding in 1096, while Aztec civilization didn't begin until 1345. The university is older than the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, and was already centuries old when the Aztecs were still a nomadic tribe. Oxford had been educating students for 250 years before the Aztecs even founded their empire. Mammoths were still alive when the pyramids were being built, with the last mammoths dying on a remote Siberian island around 1650 BC, while ancient Egypt was at its peak. These isolated mammoths survived thousands of years after most of their species went extinct, living through the rise of multiple human civilizations. The pyramids and mammoths coexisted for over 1,000 years, despite seeming like they belonged to completely different time periods. Board games that were invented to teach serious life skills. Monopoly was created during the Great Depression to teach players about the dangers of capitalism and wealth concentration that were destroying American society. The original game, called The Landlord's Game, was designed by economist Lizzie Magie to demonstrate how property ownership created inequality and poverty for working people. Players were supposed to learn that monopolistic business practices hurt communities and that land value taxation could create more equitable economic systems. Chess was developed as military training for medieval commanders who needed to understand battlefield strategy, troop movement, and tactical decision-making during warfare. The game pieces represented different types of soldiers and their movement capabilities, with rules designed to simulate real combat situations that generals would encounter. Chess tournaments were serious educational exercises that trained future military leaders rather than entertainment for casual players seeking recreational fun. Checkers was created to teach children basic strategic thinking and planning skills that would be essential for adult survival in dangerous medieval environments. The simple game mechanics helped young people develop pattern recognition, forward thinking, and consequence evaluation that could save their lives during conflicts or emergencies. Parents used checkers as educational tools to prepare children for the complex decision-making required in harsh historical periods.
The strangest thing was found in the catacombs in Paris. For the people that don't really know too much about the catacombs, bro, it's like 174 miles of just tunnels and caves all under Paris, pretty much. So this happened in 2004 in the catacombs, and the history of the catacombs, bro, is super freaking insane. Apparently, since 1955, they have banned any tourists or anybody from going down there without a tour guide. And this one day, police were doing like this training exercise down there for some reason, and while they were down there doing this shit, bro, they ended up noticing that there was like these motion censored cameras that were like following them and looking at them as they were going down and deeper in the catacombs. The deeper they go, bro, they ended up even hearing this like track that was like pre-recorded of a dog barking, and they kept hearing it. So they were like, okay, like what the is this? And pretty much what they were thinking is they used that to scare people from trying to approach wherever that area was. Yeah. So it was like you get to a certain area and then you start hearing like this pre-recording of a dog barking. So what the fuck? They kept going down deeper, and the deeper they went, they ended up literally going, and dude, you're not gonna believe this, they found a movie theater.
A decoy on To Catch a Predator wanted to warn the predators before they were caught by Chris Hansen. So on To Catch a Predator, there are decoys that pretend not to be of age in order to lure the men that end up on the show to the house. One of these decoys just came forward and said there were multiple times she wanted to warn these predators before they showed up to the house. According to her, there were multiple times where she just wanted to tell the men to go home as they were being set up. Now, the reason that she apparently wanted to warn some of these men is during their conversations, she would often relate to them a lot. You see, during her time on the show, this girl was a college student, and some of the men she would talk to would also be college students. So, of course, she started seeing some similarities between her and the men that she was talking to. She also said that over the years, intentionally setting these men up took a huge mental and emotional toll on her. And according to her, because of this toll, she has never watched any of the To Catch a Predator episodes. Now, as for why she was involved in the show to begin with, Apparently her uncle was a realtor and he was in charge of one of the houses that were used in the show, and her dad kind of told the show creators about her without realizing what he was getting her into.
What do you mean by that? Relate to them? I don't mean to jump to conclusions, but what do you mean relate to them? Is there something we need to talk about? I think there's a bigger issue at hand here, man, that we need to speak about with you, because relate to them?
Toys that were designed for adults, but kids stole them. Lego blocks were originally created as architectural planning tools for adult engineers and designers to create scale models of buildings and construction projects. The interlocking plastic bricks were intended as a professional modeling system that would allow architects to quickly build and modify structural designs. Children became fascinated with the colorful building blocks and began creating their own imaginative constructions, leading Lego to pivot from professional tools to children's toys that now generate billions in revenue annually. Frisbees were developed as pie tins from the Frisbee Pie Company that college students began throwing around campus as a stress relief activity during study breaks. The metal pie plates had perfect aerodynamic properties for flying when thrown properly, making them popular with adults looking for recreational throwing games. When children saw adults playing with the flying discs, they adopted the activity and turned frisbee throwing into a worldwide recreational sport and toy industry. Yo-yos were originally hunting weapons used by Filipino adults to capture prey and defend against enemies by throwing weighted objects attached to long strings with deadly accuracy. The toy arrived in America as a demonstration of Filipino martial arts and traditional hunting techniques that required significant skill and practice to master effectively. American children became obsessed with the challenging skill toy, transforming a serious hunting weapon into one of the most enduring toys in history.
Celebrities who faked their own death but were caught. The last one is a bit crazy. Number 1, Dave. Dave was a man who looked very different because he survived bad burns as a child. Some fans believed he was actually Michael Jackson hiding in plain sight. Dave always wore gloves, spoke with a voice oddly like Michael's, and even appeared on TV right after Michael died, acting just like him. The story goes that Michael faked his own death to get away from money troubles, lived as Dave for years, and then died for real in 2019. Number 2, Andy Kaufman, comedian. Andy Kaufman died of lung cancer in 1984, but his best friend said it was a trick. Andy told people he wanted to fake his death and come back after 20 years. In 2004, exactly 20 years later, a woman appeared claiming to be his daughter at a show to honor him. His family never let anyone dig up his grave. And some say Andy loved pranks so much, maybe he's still hiding somewhere. Number 3, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, officially died in 1977. But some fans think Elvis faked his death to escape his problems. They say his body was handled too quickly, and that he was seen after his death. Stories say Elvis had secret meetings and left clues in his songs. Even his own family had to say he was really gone because the rumors wouldn't stop.
Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video. It made you tremble in your boots, and we're going to be on to the next one.